Welcome back. Flashpoint this week marks the one-year anniversary of Detroit's emergence from bankruptcy. We're talking about what's happened since and what we're looking at as we move forward. Tom, this education piece of having to get the rest of the state to come along to help retire this debt, creating the one district, still some people upset about how the current elected school board is only going to be sort of tidying up that district that only exists to retire the debt. But where do you see this going?
It's really hard to tell, because when we had the coalition task force come into our offices, I listened to them and I thought, oh my heavens, the city bankruptcy was so much easier than this is going to be. And it's not just a Detroit problem. There are other cities, other school districts that have this problem, and the state of Michigan as a whole has an education problem. Because, you know, people think, okay, the auto industry recovered and things are going pretty well now, but the reality is, going forward, the auto industry is not going to generate job growth. It's about maxed out where it's going to be. We had a nice bounce back from their problems, but it's not. We have to grow different industries. We have to grow entrepreneurship in a state that has relied on big companies and big labor for far too long, and that requires an educated, you know, young people that we're not doing it, not only in Detroit, but around the whole state.
Well, we've got to get jobs for the people who have been failed for the last 2 generations or longer by Detroit public schools. We talk about educating the future and people for the jobs of the future. That's great, but you've got a lot of people out in this community with low skills,
right,
and we need to start attracting jobs that meet those skills or need lower skilled workers just to get them started. I mean, we've got a hugely dependent population that we have to address even before we start training the future workers.
The reality is that those jobs don't exist in as great a numbers as they used to exist unless you're willing to bite the bullet and do major infrastructure projects, construction projects.
Well, logistics.
Again, that's government funding that's not going to happen.
Stephen, we've been very slow, I think, in this state. We've always known about these troubled school districts like Detroit, and we look at it, a money picture, or we've been very slow to see that there aren't very many high-performing schools anywhere. The state has really started to fall behind on the students returning out.
And that's another disinvestment question when you look at us compared to other states. One of the things that we fall into the trap of here is comparing ourselves to ourselves. Well, we're spending more than we were last year, so we're doing okay. But you look at some place like Massachusetts, that's leading the nation in education and bringing, in particular, kids in poverty up to acceptable levels. They're spending a lot more, and they're spending it in different ways than we do, and we've got to start facing up to that. We also have to start facing up to the fact that the things that we have been doing in places like Detroit are not working. The EAA, which was supposed to be this wonderful sort of recovery at-risk district, has been a pretty big failure. Metro Times has a story this week about the lack of transparency that's gone on there. There's no reasonable explanation for that at all, given that these are government dollars. We just have not, no one has committed to doing what needs to be done and paying what needs to be paid to do it on the state level in education, and that's what's causing all these problems.
You're hard pressed, though. You're hard pressed to consider yourself a success, either on the state level or on the local level, until you figure out how you're going to educate children. You can't talk about job creation. You know, you can't talk about different fields, different industries coming here if you have no workforce for them, if they're not trained properly to take some of those jobs that might be created.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
But I mean, we talk about education spending. In terms of per capita spending, we are 9th in the nation, and we're not getting the results for it. The other states are doing better, largely because they've agreed on a strategy. We're still fighting over the strategy for reform. We haven't settled the direction yet. You have to do that before you start talking about more money.
It's not as simple as throwing dollars at it, Tom. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, it never looks good to disinvest from education, but it doesn't seem that spending more necessarily gets you better schools.
Obviously, you know, we've been through this. We see the numbers, and Michigan, which used to be a top 12 or 15 state in personal income around the nation, is now 36th, 38th, right where our educational attainment is.
Portia, I don't want to get too bogged down into what happened this past week in California, but we had another crime-ridden week in Detroit as well. I'm not sure I'm hearing, you mentioned crime being the other piece of this, I'm not sure I'm hearing the conversation really on gun violence that feels like it's going to create a change. Do you feel one coming anywhere?
No, I don't know why. You know, I saw this week that people talked about not politicizing this issue. This is a political issue. We have to step up and make some hard decisions about gun ownership, about mental health, about all of these factors, because we cannot be a country, again, that's successful when we have a mass murder every week almost. I mean, I posted something on Facebook and said, I'm going to repost this every time there's a mass murder, and I said, unfortunately, my Facebook friends may never see anything else posted from me, because it seems like we've almost become desensitized. You turn on the news, 14 people were killed this week. You know, and yes, I know there are a lot of issues that surround it, but the accessibility of guns in this country has gotten ridiculous. I mean, it is, we all know, it's less challenging to get a driver's license, to do anything than it is to go out here and get an assault rifle. So we got to do something about it.
It's absolutely not true.
It is
I don't
true.
know if
It
you've
is
ever
true.
purchased a gun, but if you go in
I have
Michigan and buy a gun, you are subjected to both a waiting period and an extensive
From a
back
dealer.
route.
From a dealer.
Which is how 90-some
But if I
percent of
buy
the
from you,
which
you
is
just
how
pass it.
90-some
You could slide me a gun off
of the
across the
guns
table,
are
and
purchased.
there would be
and
no
in fact,
record.
that's how the guns in California were
These
purchased.
seem to be legally purchased guns.
In this particular incident, look at all of the incidents that have happened this
Newtown, they
year.
were legally purchased
355
guns.
mass shootings in this country
Multiple
this year.
shootings, not
multiple
mass shootings.
Well,
which
multiple.
a situation like we had in California, different than the situation we had probably 2 or 3 times
Well,
this
but this
week in
is- Well,
Then
Detroit.
let me-
where people
let me
shoot.
ask it this way, then, Nolan. What do we do about all of these mass shootings, or is this just the cost of living in a free gun-owning society?
I don't think that there are other societies that have free gun ownership. I think we've got to address a lot of our cultural issues. We've always had gun ownership in this country, and it is
It's been a
only
violent nation too.
it's only recently we've had these mass shootings over and over and over again. Overall gun crime has actually declined since the 90s significantly. 40% decline in overall gun crime. So it's not like we're not making progress. These big dramatic issues have increased, but overall fewer people are getting killed by guns today.
And then it's not true in cities like Detroit. It's not true in cities like
Then
Chicago.
we have to address the reasons for that.
Well, but there are lots of
to
reasons,
guns
but
is one
access
of
to some of them. Noel and I keep having this argument about the connection between legal gun ownership and illegal possession.
Yep.
They are not separate.
I got to get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about what I think most of us agree is one of the strangest presidential election cycles we've seen. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.